I just found this music right here a little earlier. I think it's kind of smooth. As a matter of fact, that's what I named it in the folder. Hip Hop Smooth. Welcome back to the second segment of the ShakeBack Sports Show, BGC Sports Network. Big Day, Woster, Donny's right there, and Willie, of course, is on the scene. Just in case you missed it in the first segment, well, we talked about James Harden, his pending legacy. We're gonna get back to and we got to LeBron a little bit. No, we didn't get to LeBron, but we're gonna get to LeBron, and we're gonna get to Jason and Jalen here in the second segment. Second segment actually is being brought to you by Lakecrest Casino and Hotel. Look, I don't know about you, but I could use a break from time to time, and what better way to spend it than at Lakecrest Casino and Hotel? Lakecrest Casino and Hotel is the ideal weekend getaway to unwind, explore, and enjoy. Located just 5 minutes from Lake Murray at the exit of 29 off the 35 freeway in Ardmore, with 89 hotel rooms, 20 full hookup RV park sites, boutique shopping at the Oasis, and you can dine at the Lakecrest or Lakeside Grill, or grab a coffee and quick bites from Winning Picks Coffee and more, or check out their full service bar. Plus, Donny, they have over 1,000 of the newest games, the most popular electronic games, with 8 table games, giving players a nonstop action experience. So whether you're in the fast-paced games or classic table favorites, Lakecrest Casino has you covered. So why wait? Plan your getaway today and book your stay at lakecrestcasino.com. Again, that is lakecrestcasino.com. Okay, so Donny, so as we know, LeBron James and the Lakers are out of the playoffs. They were swept by the Oklahoma City Thunder. And we know that LeBron is about 7,906 years old. He's played 203 years in the league. And the speculation is out there, Donny. What is LeBron going to do?
All right, so are you asking me what LeBron's going to do? Or are you asking me what should LeBron do?
I'm asking you, what is LeBron going to do?
I think LeBron will play again next year or next season.
Mm-hmm.
As my man Franklin Aloysius Mumford, also known as Fam, would say on My Wife and Kids, I think LeBron James will be playing for a new team next year.
Okay.
Who that new team is, I don't know. But there's something in me telling me that his time with the Lakers is up.
Yeah, 100% agree. And it should be. Because as long as LeBron is there with the Lakers, and I think I even talked about this on the last episode a little bit, when the team and the franchise definitely needs to build around Luka. Austin Reeves. Austin. I almost did it again. Austin Reeves.
You did do that before.
I've done it plenty of times. That dude to me is a baller. I understand that he has defensive skills, efficiencies, but for the Lakers and LeBron, the reason why I say, Donny, that this should be it, because the Lakers are not going to get better until he's gone. They will not become a championship contender again until he's gone. Your thoughts on that?
Wow. I am going to slightly disagree with you there.
Okay.
I want to say two things. One, DeAndre Ayton sucks. Two, DeAndre Ayton is trash. And that's where the lack of the championship chase is for the Lakers. I've been there. You don't have a big man. You got Jokic, You got Holmgren and Hartenstein in OKC. Jokic Denver, the H Nation in OKC. You got Wembanyama in San Antonio. You got Rudy Gobert in Minnesota. Is the big man coming back?
That's a very good question, and one that I would like the answer for it to be yes.
I'm actually gonna have out here on my Twitter at hey_D_Ray. I want to hear from y'all. Biggest or worst number one pick in the NBA draft in the last 30 years. And I got a couple of other big men and a guard that we're gonna have on this poll.
Okay.
Michael Olowokandi, Anthony Bennett, Markelle Fultz, or DeAndre Ayton. So that poll has gone live. Ayton, he has not played basketball since he left the University of Arizona. That's why the Lakers aren't championship contenders.
Okay. Well, and I do agree with that. But that ain't the Lakers need so much, man. So much.
Are they the Cincinnati Bengals? Where the Bengals they got Jamar and they got T and they got Burrow throwing the ball when healthy. But they play defense over there. That's defense with no D.
Right.
You know, are you saying the Lakers are kind of like that where they have some things, but they still need just a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. Because from a defensive standpoint, besides Marcus Smart, and if DeAndre Ayton would get his butt in gear, you would have a premier perimeter defender and a basket protector. But the bottom line is that the age of the roster is up there because of LeBron. And the fact that LeBron obviously is not the player that he was, there's other things that the Lakers need in terms of outside shooting. So I just okay, let me just move on. So what should LeBron do?
I'm sure retire.
He should.
What more do you have left to do?
Well, I think we know that he was chasing Jordan, or
For
really,
what?
he was chasing Jordan. He was really chasing Kobe for championships.
Not gonna happen.
No, we know
So
that.
now,
Yeah, we know that it's not going to happen.
it wasn't gonna look. If the bubble wasn't the bubble, he wouldn't have the one that he got with the Lakers.
That is debatable, and it is a very good debate, and one in which you have a very good point. Because
sorry, sorry, you get ready to make a point, and I just kind of railroaded that.
No, but the thing is that I agree with you, and the fact is that the Lakers aren't anywhere or any more close or any closer to championship gold than in the last I don't know how many years. All right, Donny, we're halfway through the second segment, and we got to talk about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and the things that have been said by both of those individuals in terms of this past season with the Celtics. Now, of course, we know that Jason Tatum said, no, I'm sorry, Jaylen Brown said that this was his most favorite year ever in his career, while Jason Tatum was out for the majority of it. And then Jason Tatum said in a podcast that was actually recorded before the playoffs started, he was saying how much he wanted to be an NBA or I'm sorry, a Finals MVP. So, Donnie, are these two dudes being that petty regarding this, or is there a real fire or flame here?
Nothing to see here, honestly. I think you got two guys who are alpha males and want to be a number one. And there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm afraid of, and one of my favorite 30 for 30s that ESPN has done has been on the Orlando Magic and the breakup of Shaq and Penny. And I'm seeing a lot of similarities. This person saying this in this camp, this person saying this in that camp. And by the time we get to the actual truth, well, we don't actually get to the truth. It's become a game of he said, he said.
Mm-hmm.
And you got two guys like I mentioned that want to be at the top of the hill, but it's only one hill and enough room for 2 feet. I think there's nothing to see here, but if the right flames or the right fanning of the flames gets put on this, it could blow up. Do I think Boston needs to look to trade one of them? No. Boston just needs to just revamp the roster around them, in my opinion.
Okay, so I get the fact that they're both two highly competitive individuals on the same squad. I understand that. We also have seen both of these guys come up short in matters that mean the most. I'm going to ask you this. One of them is not going to be there next year because of all of this. At least I don't think so. Would you be more surprised if it was Jalen or if it was Jason?
Ooh. Bold take right there by you. What did Jason Bateman say on dodgeball? That's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. I think I'd be more surprised to see if Tatum is gone.
Mm-hmm.
They both, of course, have won a championship. Tatum has been a four-time first-team All-NBA. He's made All-NBA 5 times. Brown has only made it once. Of course, Brown's got the Finals MVP. And All-Star games, they right about neck and neck. I just think that, I don't know, for some reason, this is the opinion here. I think the franchise has more trust in Tatum than Brown. And some of why I say that for Brown is some of the off-the-court things that he, gets involved with, which is nothing wrong with that to me. Nothing wrong with it to me at all. But sometimes, teams just, they instead of maybe throwing support, they'll just rather say nothing. And I'm not agreeing with that one at all. I'm not agreeing with, with basically what I just said as far as how teams sometimes react. But, Brown is one of those guys. He ain't gonna shut up and dribble, and he shouldn't. Whereas Tatum is he's gonna say what he's got to say, but he's gonna dribble and keep things going.
It's funny that you say that about Jaylen Brown, because that is seemingly the growing opinion about that young man in the NBA. And I also want to point out the fact that Jaylen Brown, you don't see him on any major national endorsement deals. Tatum's there, Steph's there, LeBron's there, Giannis is there, SGA is there, Luka's been there. But why not? But why not Jaylen Brown? And is it because he's not the go along with the flow type of guy?
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, then kudos to him for standing up for what he believes in.
Right.
I would be just as shocked as you would be if Jason Tatum were to be let go because of everything that we discussed just now.
I want to say something real quick. I saw an article here on MSN. Dynamic duos of the 2020s. These tandems, these duos, Steph and Clay in their playoff history, 108 playoff wins, 24 series wins. Tatum and Brown, 77 playoff wins. They're next with 16 series wins. Of course, Steph and Clay got the 4 titles, and Tatum and Brown's got the 1. One of Steph and Clay's came at the expense of Tatum and Brown.
when that's the finals they both disappeared in at
Yeah,
certain points or another.
right, right. But it is interesting looking at some of the stats of some of these other duos. They got Jokic and Murray. They've got Giannis and Chris Middleton, LeBron and AD. That one don't count to me. And then SGA and Jalen Williams. And then also they compared all-time teammates.
Mhm.
Uh, and Tatum and Brown fits in here with some pretty nice company. I'm talking about Jordan and Pippen, Magic and Kareem, Bird and McHale, Duncan and Parker, Steph and Clay, Shaq and Kobe, and then Thomas and Dumars.
Isaiah Zeke Thomas, my favorite player of all time. Okay, we're gonna get to the NFL at some point, but I do want to ask you about the Knicks. And everybody has, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people have disparaged the Knicks because of the Mikal Bridges trade and them giving up all those number ones to get that guy.
The 5 number ones.
So yeah, 5 number ones. And then I got another something I want to tell you too that I just heard on Friday. If the dang, who was I just talking about? If
Mikal Bridges.
Huh?
Mikal Bridges.
Yeah, the Knicks. Talk about the
Yeah.
Knicks. So the Knicks, without having to go through Boston and a formidable Milwaukee team that once was, should they be the favorite coming out of the East, no matter who they play?
Yeah. Should because we've seen some deficiencies in the other teams that are battling in that other series between Detroit and Cleveland. Yeah, the Knicks should be the favorite.
I think I agree with you because Detroit, outside of Cade Cunningham, the other guy, their other player that was injured, I can't think of his name right now, but they've been blitzing Cade Cunningham in this series, forcing him to give up the ball. And because they don't have any other like playmakers or shot makers or people who can get their own shot, they don't have enough of those cats. Then the strategy is working by Coach Atkinson for the Cleveland Cavaliers, because making somebody else beat you or making somebody else prove that they're not self-check is prevalent. It's
Yeah.
prevalent. So, all right. Up next, we're going to get to the NFL. The schedule release is out. Donny and I are going to talk about some notable games, not just for our teams, but for the league as a whole. And we're going to do a way too early predictions on what our teams could possibly do. We're going to put the schedule up on the board. We're going to mute our mics and turn off our cams. Willie Epting Jr., ShakeBack Sports Show, Donny Epting, Dwayne Sutton, Big Day, Willie Epting Jr. again. Y'all come back and holler at us. Well, that's it. Welcome back to the ShakeBack Sports Show. Third and final segment. Yep. Donny, what's going on, man?
I was about to freestyle.
I know, right? I know,
There
right?
once was this girl from Nantucket. Anyway,
what's good with you, brother?
man, you know what? I don't even want to talk. I just want to dive right into this NFL schedule release, man. I got problems and concerns that don't concern the rest of y'all.
All right, we're gonna go there right now. But before we do, second segment, we did talk about NBA playoffs and legacies of LeBron James and the New York Knicks, and are they the favorite? But Donnie, before we actually move any further, this third and final segment, it is being brought to you by us again. And we are, of course, the Big Game Christian Sports Network. For the last 14 years, you've been supporting the BGC Sports Network, and for the last 8, the BGC Sports Network 2. So from all of us to all of you, we want to say thank you. And we look forward to the future and beyond. Real quick question, Donnie. As we are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram TV, and of course not Twitter because Twitter's tripping. But your tagline says, "Is it September yet?" Is that for the Braves or is that for the 49ers?
Yes. and college football too.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that we got that cleared up. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the NFL because of course the schedule release came out the other day, and Donnie says he has some problems, concerns, and whatnot. So we're gonna put the schedule up on the screen if we can find it. What happened to the schedule? The schedule disappeared. All right, hold on a second while I get with the producer and retrieve that. But Donnie, let's talk about your concerns first and foremost. What's so funny?
All right, the producer. I know that guy too. Here's my problem. I love football. I love football just as much as every other red-blooded football fan in these here United States and abroad. My problem is I do believe there's a such thing as oversaturation. And I'm going to be probably not the most popular person by saying this, but doggone it, I don't want to see the NFL every day.
Mm.
Why are we having games on Wednesday?
Yeah.
You think about these players and you think about these teams and how they have to go through with conditioning. Come on.
Wednesdays. Yeah, that's gonna be a whole new normal because we know the NFL has been pushing for more games, up to 18 games per season for a while, and this is just another thing. Now, with it being the fact that it's on a Wednesday, they're not going to be going up against anybody. And let's just go there real quick because the first game of the year is the ritual, right? It's the former former Super Bowl participants. New England, of course, and Seattle. Now I know you love the Seattle Seahawks, Donnie, but
yeah, with all my heart.
this look, and then on top of that, something that really stuck out to me as well when you were talking about your problem with the NFL, and it kind of goes along with the question that I had: did they get it right? And obviously, from your answer, one could assume that it would mean no, that they didn't get it right. But I think they did get it right because on Thursday nights, in which we would have the most pitiful football played. They got a lot of great games slated for Thursday night, at least on paper.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's go to our teams. Let's go to, you want to do the Raiders first?
Yeah, let's do the Raiders first.
Okay. So the Raiders home to Miami to open the season, then at the Chargers, then at the Saints, Kansas City, New England, Buffalo, the Rams. The 49ers is going to be a civil war November the 9th, Donnie. Let's talk about that game in San Francisco or Santa Clara between my Raiders and your 49ers.
We'll win. Next question.
It's like that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So again,
but I do want to say this though.
Mm-hmm.
So that's at New York and then at San Francisco.
Yep.
The NFL is dirty. They're dirty. That's crazy.
Yeah. And the game against the Jets is at noon. Wow. All right. So looking at this.
I'm sorry. I said Giants. I meant Jets.
Yeah. So looking at the schedule, we have the AFC East as well as the NFC South.
And then you should have the NFC West.
What did I say? The South?
Yeah.
It is the West.
Yeah, you have your 17th game against an opponent of the South, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, then it's the Saints.
Yeah.
We play the Saints in week 3. Seattle's gonna be a battle. San Francisco's gonna be a battle.
And that's back to back. The NFL is dirty.
Well, and then they have the Raiders at home versus the Chargers, and then the next week at home versus the Broncos.
That's tough, man. That is, all jokes aside, that's tough. Man.
Why are they giving us a playoff team schedule? I don't get it.
Well, you got to think about it. You got to think about the West. So the West, you had 2 teams out of the West that made the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Chiefs were 3rd at what, 8 and 9?
No, the Chiefs went, I think, 7 and 10 or 7 and 11. But
17 games, so
yeah.
And I'm gonna get to a 3rd place schedule in a minute. But just looking at the stretches of some of these games, at LA and then at New Orleans, then you come home to face KC, and then you go to New England, and then you got Buffalo. That right? Matter of fact, find me a win in those first 6 games, and it might be week 1. Might be week 1.
I say Miami and the Saints. So that's
my boy J.A. My boy J.A. Haynes the third ain't gonna like that.
Well, it doesn't matter what he likes. No. All right, let's switch this over to your team, the San Francisco 49ers. I haven't really looked at their schedule other than the fact that I know we're playing that you guys are playing us. All right, so the open the season, they get right down to business with the Rams. That's on Thursday night. Miami, Arizona, Denver, Seattle, at Washington, at Atlanta versus the Raiders, at Dallas versus the Vikings. In Dallas?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's talk about it then, because I don't mind. I never mind trolling Cowboys Nation.
So I want to back up. I want to back up the game. We're at Seattle and then home versus Washington, and then at Atlanta.
Home to Denver, at Seattle, home to Washington, at Atlanta.
That's a tough 4-game stretch right there.
And the game against the Commanders is on Monday night.
Well, let me first off, let's not gloss over the fact that we're playing the Los Angeles Rams to open the season, a division opponent. It's a home game. There's no place like home unless you're playing down under in Australia.
It's the Melbourne 49ers.
Against a division opponent in Australia. Look, I have nothing but love for Australia. Good day, Mike. Crocodile Dundee was that dude. Why are we playing a division opponent in Australia? Play Miami, the league, NFL. Please schedule Miami in Australia. Or let's play in Australia later in the season. Not only do we play in Australia, Willie, we play in Mexico on Sunday Night Football. I saw the Kyle Shanahan said, well, maybe the league ought to let us play LA in Mexico and give them, make them play another international game too. Didn't happen. We're gonna get a familiar foe in Kyler Midget Man Murray and Minnesota in Mexico. That 4-game stretch we talked about, don't like it at all. I don't like the stretch later on in the season where we got Seattle at home. We go to New York. We come home to play the Rams, I guess, because they're listing this one as a versus and not an at. And then we go to LA. So we got the Rams and Chargers in back-to-back weeks. Oh, and then after that, we got Kansas City. And after that, we got Philadelphia. December and January are going to be horrible. Those 4 games are going to be terrible.
Yeah, that is a murderer's row of playoff teams, and of course, last year's Super Bowl champion.
And one thing, bro, we supposed to have a 3rd place schedule. Ain't nothing 3rd place about this.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. Out of the East, we're playing Washington and Dallas. Those things are good. Well, we're playing the entire East. Let me make sure I say that. But we're playing the entire East, but we got Dallas. We got to go to Dallas. We got Washington. JD5 will be back. We're playing the AFC West. By the way, 49ers at Chargers December 17th on Prime Video. That's going to be Harbaugh current versus Harbaugh old.
Yes.
Looking forward to that one.
All right, so
I'm mad. I'm just mad. I'll hush now.
I mean, yeah, looking at really from November on, it's going to be tight. I mean, you say it's going to be an easy win against the Raiders. That remains to be seen.
Yeah,
and
we'll get the cow toes. Yeah, we got them too.
So
and I think we'll get Minnesota.
Look, Dallas, Minnesota, Seattle, New York, Chargers, Rams, Chiefs, Eagles, Arizona. How many wins do you see there?
So after the bye week, I see the first 3. I see the Giants. For certain now. So that's 4. So in those 8 games or 9 games, I'm gonna be honest. I think we go 5-4.
Yeah, and of course, depending on how everything shakes out before y'all's bye week. I mean, the before it ain't easy, but it ain't necessarily the toughest either. With Miami, Arizona, and DC in there. Okay. I think that is going to do it for this episode, Donnie. Any real quick final thoughts before we jump up out of here?
Final thoughts, real quick. Lane Kiffin Stay in your lane. You're not lying. You're telling facts, but stay in your lane. You coach the team in Baton Rouge now. Coach that team and don't talk about your former. Don't talk about your ex-boo. Concentrate on your current boo.
Enough said. All right. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of the ShakeBack Sports Show on the BGC Sports Network. There's Donny. There's Woe, but he's not there. Big day, of course. Sports fans all over the planet. Up next, the big homie, Box the Road with Donald Ware. Y'all make sure y'all check him out. Y'all make sure y'all take care of each other. Y'all love each other. Y'all hug each other. I promise it's going to be all right. And we'll holler at y'all again real soon. Peace. We out.